All right. All over the news, it seems like everybody's excited to hear that rental rates are going down for homes. And this could be exciting for a wide variety of reasons. But is it actually the truth? And is this how actual rental markets work? Well, there's actually two ways that we can measure the rental market. And in case you don't know, my name is Davin Sundvik with Sundvik Realty, and we give real estate related advice on this channel. So, before we get into how rental markets move, we have to talk first about why the news is publishing the way that they're publishing. Okay. So rental prices are one metric of inflation. It's not the only way that we measure inflation, but real estate as a whole, and rents are included in real estate, represent roughly anywhere between 25 to 30% of the inflation index. So what that means is if home prices go down, that affects inflation. That allows the Federal Reserve to justify that inflation is going down and excite people that they might be able to receive lower interest rates, okay? So that is the reason why the news would propagate that type of information. However, it doesn't mean inflation is actually going down. There's a few ways to measure rental prices, and I think after you understand in depth, you might understand that rental prices are not going down the way that you think that they're going down. Okay, so just to clarify, if you are paying $1,400 a month for rent right now, your landlord is not going to call you up and give you a discount for rent. That's not how rent typically works. It doesn't happen for residential properties and neither for commercial, okay? And let's understand the contract side first, and then we'll go into the market side, because those are the two ways that we can measure rents in the United States. So in commercial property, we write multiple year leases, all right? These leases are sometimes 3 years, 5 years, or even 10 years, maybe even out to 100 years, okay? They can be any amount of time that the tenant and landlord chooses. And typically what is written in those leases is a 3% increase annually. So what that means is if you were paying $100,000 a year to lease a piece of commercial property, then next year you will pay $103,000 per year. And every single year it will increase by 3%. And you will make monthly payments on that total annualized rental amount. So let's apply that now to residential leases. So let's talk about the market value just for a quick second here. A tenant and a landlord 5 years ago agree on a price of $1,000 a month, right? After each year, the landlord changes the contract price because they're only writing 1 year leases. So for the first year, it's $1,000 a month for an entire year. The next year, it's $1,050. The next year, it's $1,100, then $1,150, and then $1,200, right? During that time, right, the market value could have shifted independently of the contract value, right? That's just what was agreed upon. And the tenant can agree to these increases for a wide variety of reasons. Maybe the tenant believes they can't get a better deal elsewhere, so they're just going to stay put. Maybe they're in a really busy season of life and the cost of moving and the value of their time doesn't make it worth it to move for only a $50 a month increase. But if the market was only $1,100 a month, eventually that tenant would say, hey, I feel like I'm overpaying, I'm going to leave, and then that landlord would advertise the property at $1,100 a month. So it might seem like the rent went down, but really what it was just an independent contract relationship between a landlord and a tenant that created a scenario where the contract was overpriced compared to the market. This happens, all right? It's not a perfect system, but it does happen sometimes, and people move, and then a new tenant's found, and now it's $1,100. That new buyer is not getting a discount because you got to remember 5 years ago, what was the price? Well, it was $1,000, right? So it went from $1,000 to $1,100. So it didn't really go down. It's just the previous tenant was paying more than the new tenant. All right. Now let's get into the market value perception, right? Let's say under the same scenario, right? So the landlord started renting to a certain tenant at $1,000 a month, and now 5 years later, we're renting to that tenant at $1,200 a month, and the landlord believes that the market value is extremely high. The market value is $1,800 in the landlord's perception. And that tenant decides to move out, okay? So that landlord then posts their property or lists their property for rent at $1,800, right? They don't get any bites. And then so they reduce the price down to $1,600, right? So they get some interest, a tenant puts in an application, and then they agree to a price of $1,600 a month for 1 year. Now, let me ask you this. If the previous tenant was paying $1,200 and the next tenant's paying $1,600, did the price go down? Well, let me ask you another question. If you were a tenant and you saw a property listed for $1,800 and then now you see it for $1,600, in your mind, has the price gone down? Well, yes, sometimes the listing prices go down because somebody was overlisted, but typically rental markets go up over time, okay? Very rarely are tenants actually going to receive a discount from moving from one landlord to the next unless they previously agreed to a contract that was over the market price. So if you believe that your landlord is overcharging you because you agreed to a price that was over the market value, then you may be in a certain situation where you can actually move and save money. But this is independent of the broad market. The broad market will pretty much show that over time, rents do gradually increase at a rate somewhere between 1 to 5%, depending on the location that you live in. So hopefully you're a little bit more educated about this topic and you understand that the media does have an agenda to push, right? They do want to get views, right? They do want to tap into people's optimism or tap into people's pain or tap into people's pessimism in order to get views on their stuff. That's how they get attention. That's how they get ad revenue. So if you appreciate this kind of content that's blunt and honest and actually helps people, give us a like, comment down below what you think about the video, whether you like it or don't like it. I want to hear your comments, and I'll make other videos expanding on your comments or questions in the future. So definitely leave a comment down below and subscribe to see more content just like us. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.